Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. Today we continue our Matrix lab. This is the video number 73. We have been discussing in the previous video the following while still discovering the components of the group policies. Okay, so after that we can use a certain tool to discover the problems concerning the group policies. Okay, this tool is called GPO Zor, which is a PowerShell script that will generate, or a PowerShell commandlets that will generate a report 360 report, or a report that will discuss the different problems concerning the group policy. So we have stopped the last time with Mr. Lo van der Poel PowerPoint slide. Here is the slide. It is discussing how the group policies are applied. So first, we have seen this diagram before. First, we have your administrative PC. You will configure the group policies uh, from the administrative computer or from your IT computer through the group policy management console. Then it will be stored in the Active Directory database, okay, and it is stored also, so it will stored logically in the Active Directory domain partition, and it will stored physically at the sysvol folder, and then the client will go and download the group policy from the sysvol folder, and then it will begin checking the client side extensions will go and download the group policy from the sysvol folder and begin checking the components of this group policy and see which section will be applied to which section in the system or in the applications. So for example, if the group policy is related to security, the client-side extensions will apply it to the security setting of the Windows operating system. For example, if the group policy is configuring or changing some settings concerning a certain application, then the client-side extension will apply this application setting to the application program or to the configuration or to the setting of the application. So this is like a security guard that will check the group policy and see which part of it is applied to which part of the operating system or the application. And then uh, one of the most important features, or one of the most important services on the client side, something called group policy client. This is a service you can access it from the services console in your computer. If this is not running on the computer or client or server, the group policies will not be applied. So this is a very important service. Okay, so this is very important service. We can see here that every diagram we have something here like admin configuring GPOs. This is the IT. Then we have DC, or the domain controller, storing the GPOs portion stored in AD. This is the logical part. Files stored in sysvol. This is the physical part. And then applying the GPO, the client side. Clients can also be servers or and DCs, or other servers, other DCs, other clients or workstations. So this is the basic flow of the group policy. It is configured, then stored, then applied. Or we can say configured and stored, then downloaded by the client and to be applied. Okay, if you go further, we will see more complicated diagram. Here is the group policy management console, and this is the flow of the group policies. Here it's not only the IT side, then the domain controller side, then the client side. There is also some things involved in here. For example, the protocols that are used by the client to download the GPOs, the protocols that are used by the IT administrator to remotely configure group policies on the domain controller. A lot of things actually. For example, you can see LDAP. This is also, I think, used to query the Active Directory or configure group policies on the domain controller. So there is a lot of actually here some data that need to be explained thoroughly or to be explained in details. We have the PDF of Mr. Lo van der Poel. It's also discussing each part of this diagram. So the previous diagram was very simple. Okay, the IT workstation, the domain controller, the client side. But here we have a lot of things involved. For example, we have the DNS. So for the client to download the group policy, he need to query the DNS to locate the domain controller so he can download the group policy. So to do a simple thing, I will go to the PDF and show you guys this diagram and explanation, and we will upload this diagram to the AI tools and try to explain it using the AI tools. And here we can see this is the group policy client. This is the main service that without it, the client will not be able to process any group policy or work with the group policies. If we go and do like that and right click and run and type services.msc and then OK, we will see here a service called Group Policy Client. If we see the description, this service is responsible for applying settings configured by administrators for the computer and users through the group policy. So is responsible for applying settings. So this is the service that is responsible for applying the group policies configured by the administrators. So if this is not running, you will not be able to do or to apply any group policies. So if you have any problem, maybe you need first, you have a problem for some client is telling you that he doesn't or no group policy is applied to him. Maybe you need to see the group policy client service, or maybe you need to restart the service. So this is a little bit of a delicate or a complicated diagram. Let's do a simple thing. We will go there, and first of all, let me show you all the PDF that contains the explanation of this diagram. Let me open it. So here you go. This is the PDF. Let me show you all what it is. This is all of these are diagrams. If you go to page 14, so all of what we see here in this slide, okay, it is in from page 14 to page 21. If you go to page 14, we will see, here you go, this is the diagram, okay, and as we can see here, this diagram uh, is divided into several parts. First of all, the core protocols. First of all, the first thing is the system purpose, okay, how the flow of the group policy, then the core protocols used for this for the group policies to be applied, the component protocol communication, okay, the communication protocols used for the client and the administrator or the IT administrator to communicate with the domain controller. A lot of things actually, as we can see here. So we need to have all of these explained. Let me upload this PDF. If you go there and go to ChatGPT, let me get the Canvas one. Okay, I think there is no, okay, you can do that, so we can attach the file. Just a moment. So here, let's go and go to the videos, and then we have the PDF. Where is the PDF? Okay, here it is, a group policy objects. Okay, here you go, and we'll do the same with Claude. Okay, let's go and go to this one. This is the group policy objects. Okay, we will write this prompt, analyze this PDF content and wait for my uh, uh, questions that I will ask concerning the PDF content, say confirmed after analyzing the PDF. So here we will take this prompt and then Control C, and then we will do like that. So we can go there and do the same for ChatGPT and do like this one. So here is a confirmation. So here we can see that he also has analyzed the PDF, and he say that the document covers a wide range of topics. Basic concepts are architecture of GPOs, implementation details and protocols, security setting and configuration, troubleshooting guides, client-side extension and their GUIDs, group policy processing order and inheritance tools, utilities for group policy management, best practices for GPO design and deployment, integration with Azure and cloud environments, comparisons with Intune, detailed technical information about GPO components and processes, various resources, tools, blogs, and training materials. So here he has already analyzed this. Let's go and tell him to, we will get a certain prompt here. Okay, we will get this question. Let me get the prompt here. So here I will get this prompt, copy, and then let's go there and put the prompt, Control V, explain from page 14 to page 21. Okay, let's tell him explain of okay, here you go. This is the prompt. Explain from page 14 to page 21 of the content, like I am a junior IT administration learning Active Directory. Show this concept works in Active Directory, provide a real-world scenario and common pitfalls. If you go like this, Control C, and then let me get here the prompt. Okay, so here is the answer. If you go there and ask ChatGPT to do the same, so here we have seen, or let me show you what does it say exactly. So here it's getting every component of the diagram that I have showed you earlier. So here is the diagram. It will begin discussing each one of these parts of the diagram. Okay, so if you go to ChatGPT and read the answer.
The content from pages 14 to 21 discusses Group Policy Objects, GPO, an important feature within Active Directory AD that helps IT administrators manage computers and users in an organization. Below, I'll break it down into simple concepts with real-world examples and highlight some common pitfalls to avoid. Basics of Group Policies, page 14. Group Policies allow you to centrally manage the settings of computers and users within your Active Directory domain. This means you can easily enforce rules or configurations for all devices and accounts without having to manually configure each one. Think of group policies as a tool that enables you to create rules or policies once and then apply them automatically across hundreds or even thousands of computers in your network. Real-world scenario. Imagine you work for a company where all employees need their screens to automatically lock after 10 minutes of inactivity for security reasons. Instead of manually going to each computer to set this up, you use group policies to enforce this across the organization. You create a GPO to configure a screen lockout time and link it to your organizational unit OU containing all company computers. Once linked, the settings are applied automatically to all computers in that OU. Pitfall to avoid. One common mistake is misconfiguring scope and inheritance. If you accidentally link a GPO to the wrong OU, you could apply security policies to machines that shouldn't have them, potentially locking out some users or breaking some functionality. Always verify the OU structure before linking a new GPO. Group Policy Core Protocol, page 15 to 16. The Group Policy Core Protocol is the main protocol used to manage the way group policies are retrieved and applied across devices in the network. It works on a client-server model where clients request policies from the group policy server, usually a domain controller. When a computer starts up or a user logs in, it uses LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, to discover which GPOs apply to it. It then uses refreshed file access protocols to download the GPO details and apply the settings locally. Panchasht real-world scenario. Consider the scenario where you want to allow only authorized users to install software on their computers. To do this, you create a GPO that restricts software installations. When users log in, their computers will automatically fetch this GPO from the domain controller using LDAP and apply the necessary restrictions. Pitfall to avoid misconfiguring access rights can lead to issues where some computers or users are unable to retrieve GPOs. Ensure the domain controllers have proper DNS settings and that users' computers have appropriate access permissions for LDAP queries. Component functionality, page 18 to 19. Group policy components include 1. Core Group Policy Engine. This is responsible for applying GPOs at various times, e.g., computer startup, user logon. 2. Client-side extensions, CSEs. These are parts of the operating system responsible for specific types of policy settings like folder redirection, software installations, etc. The Core Group Policy Engine coordinates the application of GPOs by retrieving them from the domain controller, filtering them based on which user or computer is logging in, and then executing them in a predefined order. Real-world scenario. Say you need to ensure that all users in the sales department have their documents folder redirected to a network share for easier backup. To do this, you configure a GPO with a folder redirection setting. The client-side extension for folder redirection using fddeploy.dll is called during user logon to apply this policy, ensuring that user data is safely stored on a network drive. Pitfall to avoid. A common mistake is not considering network availability. If users are working remotely and don't have a reliable connection to the network share, they could face issues accessing their redirected folders. Make sure to test these configurations under various network conditions. Applying policies and GPO storage, page 19 to 21. The group policy template GPT files, which store the actual GPO settings, are kept in the sysvol folder on domain controllers. When GPOs are applied, the computer or user reaches out to the domain controller to read the policies. These settings are stored locally as registry.pol files in the C, Windows, System32 group policy directory. Real-world scenario. Let's say you want to enforce password complexity requirements across all users in the organization. You create a GPO with specific password requirements, e.g., at least 8 characters, including uppercase letters, numbers, and symbols. The GPO is linked to an OU that contains all the users. The group policy engine ensures that when users attempt to change their passwords, the new settings are enforced. Pitfall to avoid. An issue that often arises is replication delay. If the settings in sysvol are not properly replicated to all domain controllers due to network issues or incorrect replication configurations, users connecting to different domain controllers might have inconsistent policy settings. Always check that sysvol replication is functioning correctly, either using DFS replication, DFSR, or another method. Summary. 1. Group policies allow centralized management of computers and users. 2. They are applied when users log in or computers start up using LDAP to find applicable policies. 3. Client-side extensions, CSEs, ensure that specific policies are correctly applied on users' computers. 4. Group policy templates, GPT, are stored in the sysvol directory of domain controllers, ensuring all domain controllers have the policies ready to be applied. Common pitfalls to avoid. Incorrect scope application. Always double-check which OUs your GPOs are linked to. Replication issues. GPOs are only as effective as their consistency across the network. Verify that sysvol replication works. Testing. Always test a new GPO on a small group before deploying it widely to avoid unintended consequences like user lockouts. By understanding these fundamentals, you'll be able to create efficient group policy strategies, improve security, and automate management tasks in your Active Directory environment.
So this is a good answer, but anyway, here we can see that we have already discussed what is the LDAP used for. So to communicate with the Active Directory and work with the group policy, group policy or creating the group policy. Kerberos, he didn't discuss it. This is, I think, for authentication with the domain controller, remote file access if you are using remote tools to access the domain controller for configuring the group policies, core protocol or core group policy protocol. This is used for configuring, I think, or for accessing and downloading and configuring group policies. So I think this is LDAP to communicate with the Active Directory, but I think this protocol is used for configuring the group policies, okay? We can see also on the other side the same protocol, remote file access, ISMP. I think ISMP, this is for pinging and discovering the domain controller to download the group policies. Kerberos for authentication, LDAP for communicating with the Active Directory database or querying the Active Directory database. Maybe this for verification of the user, maybe. Anyway, so you can see he didn't discuss all of the extensions or sorry, all of the components of the components of the diagram. Let's go to Claude and see if he can give us a more detailed answer. Okay, here we can see that think of group policy as a central control panel for your entire Windows network. Instead of configuring each computer individually, you can set rules and configurations once and have them automatically apply to all computers and users in your organization. Real world scenario. Let's say you are managing a company with 100 computers. Your security team wants to enforce specific password policy, disable USB drivers, set a standard desktop wallpaper, install specific software. And instead of working to each computer, you can create one group policy that applies all these settings automatically. Then he will begin discussing the component protocol communication. This is about how different parts of group policy talk to each other. There are three main players: administrative tools, group policy management console, group policy client, computer receiving the policy, domain controller, stores and distribute the policies. Okay, so we have the configuration, the client, the storage or the domain controller. Okay, real world scenario: when you create a new password policy, you use GMC on your domain or your admin computer. The policy is saved to the domain controller. Client's computer check in with the domain controller and receive the new policy. Clients apply the policy locally. They communicate using these protocols: LDAP for accessing Active Directory, DNS for finding domain controller, SMB for accessing files on the sysvol folder to download the group policies because they are saved on the sysvol folder and it is shared. And this protocol is responsible for sharing files to the users in the network. Kerberos for security. So here, this is a more detailed answer. Okay, and discussing different protocols in the diagram. Let's go further and see the explanation. These, the client-side extension. These are like specialized workers that handle different types of the policy. Each extension handles specific types of setting: security settings, software installation, drive mapping, printer connection, registry setting, scripts. Real world example: when you create a policy to map a network drive, The group policy driver maps extension GUID so and so handles this specific task. It runs on the client computer, creates the drive mapping according to specifications. Common pitfalls to avoid. Overcomplication. Do not create too many GPOs. Do consolidate related setting into single GPO. Poor organization. Do not place all GPOs at the domain level. Do use organizational OUs to structure your GPOs logically. Testing issues. Do not implement GPOs directly in production. Do test in a small OU first. Documentation problems. Do not forget to document your GPO setting. Do keep track of what each GPO does and why it is created. Okay, performance impact. Do not create circular dependencies between GPOs. Do keep GPO structure as flat as possible. Okay, best practice for success. Start small, begin with a few essential policies, test thoroughly before expanding, document everything, use naming convention. Examples, we have seen this name group policies according to a naming convention. Okay, regular maintenance, review GPOs quarterly, remove unused policies, update documentation, test policy application, troubleshooting toolkit, keep those tools handy. GP result /r, this is a command to show applied policies, GPE update /force policy update, rsop.msc resultant set of policy tool. We have seen this tool before. Group policy modeling with wizard. Real world implementation example. Let's say we need to implement a new security policy for the accounting team. Plan the policy. This is the name, the location, the purpose. Create the GPO. Open the group policy management console. Right click on accounting OU. Create and link new GPO. Configure setting. Password complexity requirements. Screen lock timeout. USB driver restrictions. Printer mapping. Test the deployment. Create test OU with sample users from the accounting team. Apply policy. Verify setting applied correctly. Monitor and document. Track help desk tickets related to the policy. Document any issues and resolution. Keep a change log. This way of implementing group policies ensure both security and manageability while avoiding common problems that could affect your users or network stability. Remember, group policy is powerful but requires careful planning and testing. Always have a rollback plan before applying major changes. Even though this is also a more detailed answer than ChatGPT, but still some missing components are not answered yet. So if you go to the PDF itself and open it, if you go to this section, let me show you all the section, not the troubleshooting, sorry. We'll go back and open the group policy objects. We will close this one. So if you go to page 14, let's go to page 14, okay. So we can see here, first, for example, core protocols, MS-GPO is the main group policy protocol. It is a client-server protocol that allows client to discover and retrieve policy setting created by the group policy administrator. So this is the main protocol used by the client or by the administrator to retrieve group policies from and download group policies from the domain controller. So this is the first thing here, okay. Then, as for the communication protocols, so this is how to download GPOs using this protocol. As for the communication protocol, we have LDAP and Access File Protocol or SMB protocol. So you have LDAP and SMB protocol for accessing group policy storage data or the Active Directory database. So let me cut it to two parts. LDAP to communicate with the Active Directory database, okay, retrieve the logical parts of the group policy. SMB for accessing the shared folder or sysvol folder to get or to access the sysvol folders and the group policy templates, okay. As for downloading and processing, downloading the GPO files and something, it will be used by GPOL protocol. And by the way, it's working with SMB. These two protocols work closely together. Okay, so we have seen here something which includes so and so. DNS, we have seen we know all for locating the domain controller. Kerberos is for authenticating for the group policy server or the domain controller. So this is authentication. Group policy or core protocol is for invoking and processing administrative tool extensions via the administrative tool. So anyway, this protocol is used for downloading and processing group policies. Let's see here the communication protocol with LDAP and file access for accessing group policy storage. Okay, DNS, Kerberos, group policy. Okay, so this is very simple. Okay, and easy and straightforward. So as we can see here, LDAP accessing required storage retrieval GPOs, file access, required for updating and retriever user and computer policy and GPO version, and file group policy file share. Here is the thing, let me show you this part which was talking about that the GPOOL and SMB working together. If we see here something, let me go, and there is another protocol called SPN Ego. What is this? These protocols for applications, the use of simple which facilitates a secure communication when negotiating with authentication protocols, the group policy protocols. So I think this is also uh, a protocol used for security, this SPN Ego. Okay, so anyway, we can see that uh, each one of these protocols are highlighted. A file access protocol is invoked to read and update policies on the group policy file share and do transmit policies, settings, and other data between the group policy server and the client. But this SMB is working with the MSGPO. This will work with the SMB to retrieve and download the group policies. Okay, so you can see here the components. Anyway, so if we go again, now we have some view about how this diagram works. Okay, we see the Kerberos, the remote, ISMP. I think ISMP, this is for discovering the domain controller. Okay, so let me do something here. If I tell him this is, maybe if I tell him this is level 1 answer, maybe he will give us a more detailed as this level 1 answer. Go to level 2 answer. Let's see if maybe he will give us a more detailed answer. And let's go again to plot. This is level 1 answer. Go to level 2 answer. Let's see if he will give us a more detailed explanation. Let me try to see. So he's giving a more detailed answer. Okay. Create and improve caching. Okay, real world scenario. Well, so he added Kerberos in TLM, which was not added before. DNS. Okay, then he will begin giving us more details. Okay, but still some components are not added. Okay, added some troubleshooting steps, advanced consideration, but anyway he didn't add add the other protocols that I consider or that was discussed here in this PDF. Okay, if we go to Claude and see the answer, let's see if he will give us a more detailed answer. No, I think here is giving us Okay, here is the protocol level operation, LDAP flow. Initial LDAP binding, search for DNS, query for GPO objects, read GPE files, read machine extensions. Okay, this is the protocol group policy component protocol stack, GPO tools, engine, client side, SMB, DNS protocols. Well, it's a very complicated, but not giving us okay, I think these examples are not that good. Okay, so anyway, uh, this seems to be explained, so we can go, you can read it from the PDF. So most of these protocols, one is used for retrieving group policies, GPOL. Uh, we have seen all of these. Okay, one of these also is authentication protocols. Anyway, so are the different components of or the flow of the group policies. If we go and see the other slides, moving GPOs from the DC to the client, Active Directory sees and understand what GPOs needed to be applied to each computer during boot or user during logon. GPs are stored at the sysvol folder. We all know this. Okay, so we can see here is the server GPO, and then the client during the login process. There is the client-side extension, the group policy engine. It will begin seeing the different sections: system, registry, event log, local GPOs. Okay, so if it's a registry, it will be applied to the registry. It will be recorded at the event log. This is the local GPO processing before processing any group policy. So a lot of things, but still simple and easy. If we go further, we have seen this diagram before. Then we will see a more complicated diagram. Okay, scope of management, an Active Directory site, domain, organization, unit container. These containers contain users and computer accounts that can be managed through group policy. These SOMs are themselves associated with group policy objects, and the accounts within them are considered by the group policy protocol to inherit associations. So here is saying that the group policy protocol to inherit that association. So here is referring to that this uh, protocol uh, is responsible for uh, linking, or it is a way to confirm the linking of the group policies to the different OUs or domain or site. Okay, so this seems to be one thing, but also I think, guys, you can see the explanation here from the PDF, which seems to be a more complicated answer. We can see here a lot of things. Actually, we don't need to go further in it. If you need to go further, you can go and ask the or see the PDF, but we have the general view of the thing. We know how the group policy is applied and the flow of the group policy. So if we go and complete with the different slides, if we go further, okay, so you can see here the this the diagram itself is still repeating the same diagram. Now it's talking about group policy core protocol. This is the group policy protocol is a system that allows a group policy client, like a computer within a network, to find and get policy setting. These settings are made by a group policy administrator, usually a domain administrator, and are saved in the group policy object within Active Directory. Administrator decides on this policy setting to manage how policy clients behave and what they do. This protocol then helps in transferring these set policies from the group policy server to the members of the domain. So this is the group policy core protocol, or GPEOL. Okay, it is responsible for transferring the group policy, such as group policy client or a user who is actively using a computer under the group policy client. So this is If we go to the diagram, it is responsible for retrieving, also he's working with this protocol to retrieve the group policies. I have said this before. So group policy core protocol. Okay, this is a system that allows a group policy client to find and get group policies. Okay, so this is the GPOL core protocol GPO. Okay, this is very, very simple. We have seen this one. Okay, if we go further and see client side extensions, if we go there, we will see that the client side extensions here, when the group policy goes, it will begin discovering. So for example, if your group policy is about security, it will talk to certain DLL, okay, which will take this group policy and apply it to the certain operating system part or certain application part. So for example, if you have a group policy for further redirection, the group policy will be processed by this DLL file, okay, which be go after that and apply it to the workstation. Okay, so these are the parts here: folder redirection, security setting, Internet Explorer and maintenance, disk quota, software installation, administrative templates, 6.6 scripts. All of these are parts of the client-side extensions which will deal with the group policy parts. Okay, so if your group policy is security setting, this file will deal with the group policy and apply the group policy to the workstation. So this is very, very simple. If you go further and see, the service applies GPOs on all Windows platform. We have seen this group policy client section. If we go further, CSI client sides are made of two components: a registry entry and the DLL file. We have seen the DLL. The DC sends the GPO to the client and interacts with the relevant CSE. So the DC will send the GPO to the workstation, then the client side will begin processing this GPO. Okay, who is processing the GPO? The DLL file, and then the DLL will begin applying the setting or the group policy to the workstation. Okay, and we can see here, you can see all of the CSEs through the registry. Okay, is registered within Windows registry, which allows the group policy engine to recognize and call the appropriate CSE when processing GPO settings. So simple and easy. Okay, a DLL file will be responsible for dealing with the group policy. Okay, if we go further and see the other things, okay, CSE types, so you have administrative templates, folder redirection, security settings, software installation, scripts, age, wireless network protocols, disk quota, OS packet scheduler, IP security setting, group policy preferences, extends group policy capabilities to configure settings like drive mapping, printers, schedule tasks, and more. If we go further and see, all of these are explaining this diagram, by the way. If we go there, we will see. So for example, this is responsible for wireless group policies. This is the DLL file. This is the GUID. So if you see a group policy that have this GUID, so this is a wireless group policy. If you see a group policy with this GUID, then it is a for the redirection group policy. Okay, so I think they should match. Okay, the group policy GUID and the client side GUID should match, so they can apply the group policies, okay, or know what group policy is applied to what part. Okay, so we can see that are all of this very, very simple. Then the group policy preferences, if you go further, we can see WMI filtering. This is a way that you can apply a certain GPO to certain computers with certain conditions. For example, WMI filter is the process of customizing the scope of GPO by choosing a WMI filter to apply. These filters allow administrators to apply the GPO only to, for example, specific computers with specific models or RAM or installed software. Okay, for example, I need to apply this group policy BitLocker to Windows 11 machines or Windows 10 machines. So this can be done through WMI filtering. Okay, very, very simple and easy concept. If we go further, GPO and security policies, if we go further, here is the way that a group policy or a security group policy is applied. First of all, we have sorry, we have the OU, every OU has a group policy, domain GPO, domain controllers OU that contains the domain controller's default GPO, and maybe a client-side GPO or a OU applied or a GPO applied to an OU. Anyway, so for example, if you want to apply the domain group policy, okay, first we have the group policy processing. Then we go to the client side. Okay, GPO policy runs during login. Then this is a security setting or a security GPO. This DLL will be responsible for applying this GPO. So first, the group policy processing. Then group policy invokes this DLL because it will be responsible for applying this security policy. Then it will go and download the security. So first it's only processing, or it's only taking the names and location, and then this DLL will be responsible for downloading the security policy. Then it will merge the policies according to precedence. If there is a lot of group policies that contains a lot of security setting, it will merge them if they don't conflict with each other. If they have conflicts, then it will apply the with precedence. Okay, so let me show you an example concerning this diagram. So then merges, then it will apply to the sec part database, and then let me show you something. If we get this part here like this and ask, sorry guys, so if you get this one, let me, if you go like this, and I have it already, by the way, sorry. If we go and ask the AI tools to explain this diagram, if you go there and upload, I have it already. If you go to the final, and I have this already there. If you go to the security, where is the security? So where is the security part? I have it already. GPO apply. Where is the security section? I have it already because I already put it before. Where is this part? I think it was there. Let me have a look. So where it is? Okay, I think this is, yes, okay, I think here it is. This is GPO apply, okay, but this is not the one that I need. GPO owner. Okay, here you go. This is the security one. And then we will get the prompt. Okay, here you go. And if we take this one, copy, and do like that, this screenshot content, okay, like junior, and let's see how this will be explained. We will do the same here. And let's have this screenshot. Okay, here you go. If we have it, the security, here you go, this is the one. And let's see this. So if we go further up, Okay, let's read it and see how it will explain this uh, diagram. It should apply, and let's see how it will be explained using the AI tools.
This diagram represents the process of applying group policy security settings in an Active Directory environment. Let's break down each component step by step to help you understand how this process works and how it impacts computers in the network. Overview of diagram components. The diagram illustrates the flow of group policy processing with a focus on security settings. Below is a description of each part of the diagram. 1. Group policy processing step 1.
Okay, the group policy engine runs when a computer starts or when users log in. It queries Active Directory, the group policy engine. Uh, where is the group policy engine? Here, this is the group policy engine. Okay, runs on a computer and starts on user login. It queries Active Directory to find the applicable group policies. Okay, these GPOs are based on the computer user membership within the domain, organizational units, or even security groups. So it will go and search which group policy, or it will query and see which group policy it will be applied to it, to the client. If he is in this OU, then this group policy will be applied to him, or another OU, or a third OU. So this is the first thing. And then in the diagram, okay, you see group policies applied at different levels. Domain default to domain controllers, group policy. These are policies applied to domain controllers. GPO or domain policy that affects all computer users in the domain. OU GPO policies specific to organization units within the domain, allowing for more granular control. So we can see here, this is the structure, he is explaining it, and this is the group policy engine. So if we continue with the answer, real world scenario. Imagine your company wants to enforce password complexity requirements across all users. You create a GPO with password policy setting and link it at the domain level. When a computer is booted up, the group policy engine queries Active Directory to identify which GPOs apply, including the domain-wide password complexity GPO. If we go further, common pitfalls. A common mistake here is GPO scope misconfiguration. For example, if you link a GPO at the domain rather than a specific OU, it could lead to unnecessary restrictions for users that weren't meant to be targeted. Always make sure to understand the scope of impact for the GPO you are linking. So this is the first step, which is the group policy engine. Okay, group policy engine retrieving the group policy. Okay. Then we have step 2, which will be processing. So the first we get the or querying or getting the info about the group policies to be applied, then processing these details, and then this DLL will download the GPOs. So let's see if we go to the next step. During the login process, when the computer starts or user login, the group policy engine invokes this DLL, which is the client-side extension responsible for processing security settings defined in GPO. Okay, this file specifically handles security-related configuration, that account policies, user right assignments, and security options. Okay. Step 3, downloading the files. Download the applicable security setting from GPO retrieved from the Active Directory. These settings are then prepared for application to the computer. Okay, so this is a very, very good example. Let's say we want all domain computers to have specific audit policies enabled, like auditing login attempts to track any unauthorized access attempts. You configure a GPO with audit setting and link it to the OU containing these computers. This DLL file will download these settings during the login process and prepare them to be applied. Okay, step 4, merging policies according to precedence. So we're now talking about step 4. Okay, so step 4, downloaded, okay, have downloaded the relevant security policies. It merged them according to precedence. Let's read this section carefully. Precedence is important because GPO linked at different levels, domain, OU, etc., may have overlapping or conflicting settings. The order of precedence typically follow local GPO, the setting defined on the local machine, site GPO, domain GPO, OU. Okay, so it will see if you have different security group policies, which one will prevail. If they are conflicting, it will see the winning GPO, which will be the OU, with the deepest OU level having the highest precedence. Okay, if they are not conflicting, it will merge them and apply them. Policies that are linked more specifically take precedence over the more general ones. Okay, so we can see here it merges them according to precedence. So it, for example, this group policy is not contradicting with the other one, and the same for all. It will merge them all with the OU GPO and apply them. If they are conflicting, then the last one will win. Okay, so let's go to a real world scenario. Suppose that there is a domain level policy that defines a 15 minutes screen lockout, but a specific OU policy reduces to 10 for the finance OU. For computers within the finance OU, this DLL merges this policy, applying the 10-minute timeout since has a higher precedence. I think it will not merge them if the conflicting ones, okay, will not be merged, but the conflicting one will not be merged, but the one will take precedence like the OU. As the not conflicting, they will be merged. Okay, so common pitfalls. Here we see that one pitfall is avoid not counting for inheritance. If you apply different security policies at different OU levels without checking the inheritance, you might receive conflicting settings leading to unpredictable behavior. So this is part 4. As for part 5, these group policies will be stored. Okay, let me see here. So let's continue. Okay, storing. You have another DLL file is responsible for storing these merged security setting into security database. Okay, on the client side, this security database holds the effective security setting for the computer, ensuring that policies are maintained consistently and ready to be applied. Okay, step 6, applying group policies. Here is this applying the group policy. This ensures this file is used to apply the security setting for the security database to the computer itself. So this file will process the group policy, and this file will apply the group policy. Okay, so we have two different DLL files. So just a moment, guys. So let's continue, guys. Here is the file that we use to apply the security setting from the security database. This is responsible for do that, and then apply the policy to the computer. Okay, the last here is a real world scenario. If a policy specifies that only domain administrators can change system time, this file will ensure that the policy is applied, restricting other users from modifying the system clock. Common pitfalls. Some time policies might not be correctly applied due to GPO processing issues or network delay. It is essential to run commands like gp update/force to trigger an immediate update of group policy setting, or gp result/r to verify all settings are being applied correctly. Step 6, supplying data to resultant set of policies, RSOP. The resultant set of policies tool help administrators verify which policies had been applied and troubleshoot potential issues. This file supplies data about the applied policies to RSOP to facilitate this verification process. If you go there, it will apply it to the tool. This is, if you tell him run RSOP, this is the tool. Here you go. From here you can know the applied setting. Okay, so it will be applied, then it will be configured or stored or be retrieved by this console. Okay, if we go and continue the explanation, step 7, WMI reciprocity integration is used to store information about applied policies in WMI reciprocity. This allows administrators to query and report on policies applied to specific computers or users. Okay, if you have the group policy have WMI filter, I think it will be applied or it will be stored. Okay, real world scenario. If you want to ensure all policies, passwords, and audit settings have been applied correctly across the network, you could use RSOP to generate a report on a particular computer or user. This report can help you identify any issues with policy application and ensure compliance, common pitfalls and best practices. Replication issues. One major challenge is applying GPO in replication lag. Since GPO settings are stored in sysvol, replication between domain controllers must be timely and accurate. If domain controllers are not replicating properly, different computers could receive different GPOs versions. Always monitor replication using tools like RepAdmin. Security filtering and scope management. If you misconfigure security filtering or link GPOs incorrectly, they may not apply to the intended users or computers. Double check the scope and the security filtering to avoid policy inadvertently missing targets. Loop back loop back processing. Sometimes when user logs on shared or Kaizo computers should receive different settings depending on the computer they use rather than their user OU. If you do not configure loop processing in these scenarios, the GPO may not behave as intended. Slow link detection. By default, certain policies may not be processed over slow network connections to avoid degrading the user experience. However, if you need all settings to be applied, such as important security policies, ensure to configure setting to also apply in case of slow link connection. Summary. Group policies are powerful tools for managing configuration centrally across all domain joined computers and users. These two DLL files, this one and this one, are responsible for downloading, merging, storing, and applying security policies. The resultant RSOP and WMI help with troubleshooting and verifying applied policies. Common pitfalls including misconfiguring GPO links, replication issues, and not accounting for inheritance, and loopback processing when targeting settings. Very, very good example. We will continue. Uh, we will continue with Claude, but uh, after a short time. So let's continue, guys. Here is the answer of Claude concerning the explanation of the diagram. Here he is saying that how group policy security setting work, the basic flow, initial process. Step 1, the group policy engine starts during Windows login, which as we can see here, this is this part. Okay, he's talking about this one. Okay, and then it checks Active Directory to see what policies apply to this computer by checking the Active Directory to see which OU and which group policy he will apply. And then security policy downloads this DLL file, downloads security policies from domain controllers. If we go there, here it is. This will download the group policy. Before that, the group policy engine talks to this DLL file, and then this DLL file talks to the domain controller and download the group policies. Okay, so this is the second and third step. The fourth step, policy merging. This DLL file combines all the security policies based on priority, which was explained by ChatGPT. If you get like layers of rules stacking on top of each other, then this is, as we see here, step 4 according to precedence. Then step 5, another DLL file will write the setting or will save the setting to a database, security database, which is here saying policies are stored in a local database. This is like a local rule book for the computer. The step number 6, we can see here that this DLL file will apply the policies to the computer. Then it will store the results in the RSOP console, and then it's also saved at WMI reciprocity. If you go and check the steps, applies policy to the computer, change take effect of the computer, reporting rules are sent to RSOP, resultant set of policy, store WMI for reporting and troubleshooting. Then he gives us a real world scenario. We have bank organization or computers. We have teller computers and manager computers. Here we have extra permissions, special permissions, let's see here what will happen. What happens? A teller logs onto their computer. The computer contacts Active Directory. It downloads security policies for bank-wide security and teller-specific security. So it downloads two security, the domain or default domain policy and the teller's computer OU policy. Okay, OU or GPO OU policy. Okay. Policies are merged and applied. The teller computers now have strong password requirements, USB restrictions, screen lock timeout, limited software installation rights. Okay, so we can see here this is the base security. It will be inherited to the teller computers and the manager computers. Extra permissions will be added to the baseline security, and special permissions are combined with the baseline security permissions or security setting. Common pitfalls to avoid. Policy conflicts. Do not create conflicting policies at different levels. Do use block inheritance and enforce carefully. Okay, this is very, very good recommendation. Performance issue. Do not create too many security policies. Do consolidate similar policies. Testing problems. Don't implement security policies without testing. Do use test OU first. Monitoring gaps. Do not forget to check if policies are applying. Do use RSOP and event log regularly. Okay, now best practice for success policy organization. This is how you can organize your OUs. We have baseline security, the domain level, department policies, OU level, or GPO domain level, GPO domain level, and GPO OU level, and sub or special cases sub OU level GPO. So this is how you can implement the group policies. Okay, the structure. Okay, it's testing for checking for security policy application, GPA result /r, view security setting. You can see the security setting by this command. So let me try to take this command and try to get it from my or get the sec edit database on my workstation. If I go there and tell him run, and then maybe I put CMD, okay, and then if I take like that and tell him maybe C analyze, and let's see if this will work. You do not have sufficient permissions, so I need to copy and run as administrator. This will get the local security policy on my machine. So let's try to close this one, and then we will get the CMD prompt and right click run as administrator. Then we can do like that and press enter. System cannot find the specified file. Task has completed an error. Set log. Okay, so here, why is this? If I try to remove this and try to take the command, cannot find the specified file. He cannot find sec edit.sdb. So this is the command. Okay, I think there is a problem here. Maybe he doesn't. If you try to tell him sec edit like this, configure, analyze, export. So we have sec edit already /analyze. Okay, what about /analyze? Sorry guys. So if you do like this, analyze, what will happen? So here give me the syntax. db file name, cfg file name, overwrite. Okay, so we need to have analyzing the file name. So we have db the file name which was different. Okay, and what about CFG? CFG specifies security template to import into the database prior to performing the analysis. Okay, what about, I'm telling him to do like this, only to, okay, so I think there is a problem here. Anyway, Maybe you need a computer join the domain to see this working or not. Okay, anyway, troubleshooting steps. Check event viewer for policy errors. View policy download in RO rsop.msc. Test policy application with GP update/force. Documentation. Keep a spreadsheet of all security policies. Document exceptions and special cases. Maintain change log. Quick tips for success. Start small. Begin with basic security policies. Add more complex policies gradually. Test each addition thoroughly. Regular maintenance. Review security policies monthly. Remove outdated policies. Update documentation. Emergency plan. Keep backup of working policies. Know how to quickly disable problematic policies. Have a rollback procedure ready. To check if policies are applying correctly, here is gpresults/h to export the group policies, gp update/force to update the group policy, and this to check security database. This command was not working. I think there is a problem maybe with it. It need to be tweaked or something. Security policies are powerful but can lock users or yourself out if not configured properly. Always test thoroughly and maintain good documentation. Okay, so uh, this is a good example, even though I am not really satisfied with it. So if we go to the next slide, okay, here is also another thing concerning the DLL or uh, the portion of the client side that will implement the security setting. We will stop at this slide and configure it, or we will discuss it in the upcoming video. Hope this video is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.